to our kitchen. Macy and I are going to briefly discuss a few coffee pot herbals. And I just kind of wanted to share with some of those who are new to studying herbs just how easy it is, maybe give them a visual idea. I was watching a video from a sister at the Congregation Israel in New York, and she was admonishing us as homekeepers to study herbs, and I completely agree. A couple years ago I kind of was led down that path, and I've been collecting, herbal information and studying it and incorporating it in our family, and I use just a binder, and as I collect articles or helpful information, I just keep it in this binder. And then I also have some books and things we check out from the library and take notes, take lots of notes. But it really is far easier than I initially thought it would be. We really, when it comes to herbs, it's of course the more natural way to not only maintain our health, but also if we do have an ailment to try to remedy that. The majority of the world uses herbal medicine for their health, overall health and lifestyle. So it's definitely worth looking into. Today, I'm not only going to go over a few teas, but also some other ways you can use herbs that we have been doing in our family. And then Macy over here, I wanted her to help because it's very important that we as mothers, homekeepers, wives, this is something we should really work toward passing on to our children. And so I'm going to get Macy involved as we go. First, let me just briefly discuss. Here's a few of the herbs we use. And I took notes because a lot of people, when they think of herbs, they think of what? Tea, right? And a tea bag. But as you'll notice here, these are bulk herbs. These are dried herbs. And do you want to see that? Can you smell it? And these herbs are more in their natural state rather than being processed and put into the little tea bags, which is more convenient. But I went ahead and I thought, well, why is it that I prefer myself the bulk herbs? And I wrote a few reasons. One is the price. The price, of course, it's less expensive. There's far less processing. Preferably the organic herbs you want to go with. But also the quality of the herbs, they're a little more potent. They haven't been on the assembly line, depending on who you order from. I'm going to try to put some links there in the comments section on YouTube. There's limited processing, like I said. You're not going through an assembly line of packaging and preparation, and that's more expense also. And another reason is it allows me creative freedom, because as we study some of these herbs, and you learn more about why you would want to use them for what situation, you're able to get a little more creative with your blends. And then finally, it's a step towards self-sufficiency, being less dependent on, say, the store for your herbs. We've tried to plant some, herb gardens over the years. We've had a little success with our mint and our parsley. What else? Rosemary. What else? Basil. I think we've done basil. We've tried like echinacea and some others. We haven't had much success, but we're not giving up. But as much as we can, plant our herb garden. We have dried our own peppermint pretty successfully. And so we want to learn how to produce and use these herbs the way our Creator has designed it. And so that's really exciting to me. I do want to note that there are various types of herbs. The three main uses you would use is for a tonic to tone your body, support if you have like a cold or something like that, and then acute if you have a more serious condition. And those you use on short term. The herbs I'm going to kind of mention are more the herbs you can use, on a long-term basis, more of the tonifying type herbs. Now there are some, the sister at Hebrew Baby, she mentioned there are some hybrids. There are some herbs, you really need to be concerned about, but hopefully this will kind of open your eyes just how easy it is, and then you'll take it a step further and continue to study. So here I've chosen, let's see, you want to count these, how many I have here? I've chosen to store ours. We store ours in either mason jars, or we'll reuse like our glass jars that we made by salsa or spaghetti sauce. And then we put them in our cabinet, store them in our cabinet. Of course, we label them. Some of the vendors that I buy our herbs, they have labels, and I'll just put on there. And one thing I did want to mention though, this is important, as I was pulling out herbs, it's important you don't have moisture in your jar. And I was making elderberry syrup a few months back, and I had some extra elderberries, and I went to look in it, and there was moisture. I'm not throwing it away. I'm going to compost it. That's another thing. If you have extra tea that's maybe set too long, rather than dump it down the drain, you would want to go ahead and pour it over your plants or compost it or whatever. So this one here, be very careful. The way you store them is important. You don't want that moisture in, and it could cause problems. So I'm going to go ahead and compost that a little later. But let's go ahead and get into the coffee pot herb side of it. Okay, there are many methods you can use to prepare for your herbal teas. And again, I'm going to start off with the teas and allow them to steep, and then I'm going to show you a few other ways you can use your herbs. One way, of course, if you just have a pot, you don't have the coffee pot, you can just boil your water, put your herbs in, and strain them off. But then I'm going to go ahead, with Macy's help, show you two methods. I call it coffee pot herbals. And one reason why is when we were drinking more coffee more frequently, it was just easier to kind of use the same coffee method to prepare our herbs. And although it wasn't as potent, like I have a few herbalist friends that probably wouldn't appreciate this method as much as letting them infuse, but I'm going to show you two different ways, okay? Before I had mentioned, of course, I like the creative freedom of the bulk herbs, so I'm going to let Macy here, got a little filter in the coffee filter there, and I'm going to let Macy, for this one, let us just do peppermint and some oat straw. Oat straw is kind of calming. Peppermint also is a little, relaxing. So I want you to do, let's do 3 of these and 1 of these, okay? And I'm going to give you 2 different spoons. Now, the general rule of thumb is you want 2 to 3 teaspoons of herb per cup of water, okay, or about a tablespoon roughly. So let's start with this. Put 1 in here, okay, and I'm going to help Macy get that going. Put 1 tablespoon. Okay, you can pause it, Ryan. Okay, we're going to do 3 of oat straw. Oat straw, it has a very mild flavor, and the peppermint is a little stronger, so I only used 1 peppermint. And very nice. So this will make it easier because you won't have to strain it, the filter. Now, it's not going to be as potent because the hot water is just going to run through. It's not going to actually infuse in the tea. But for coffee drinkers who are trying to get off the sauce, this is kind of a good way to, make that transition. So here I've already put some fresh water, so I'm going to go ahead and fill it up just like you would those coffee drinkers in the morning. Okay? Alright? And then we'll give that a go. Okay? We're going to let that go. And then on this side, I'm going to get a little colorful. One of my favorites is hibiscus, and this is really good antioxidant. It helps lower your cholesterol, and I really like it. And actually, in the islands, I think Jamaica, they make the sorrel, I believe, with the hibiscus, so you may want to Google that. They make a real good drink. So for this one, I'm going to do differently. Rather than put it in a filter, I'm going to put it directly in the teapot. I'm just doing the water here. I'm going to put it directly in the teapot, and this one will set a little bit longer. And reason being, we're going to allow the herbs, the quality, properties of the herbs to really infuse in the water. So Macy, let's do 2 hibiscus, and I'll do maybe 2 hibiscus and an oat straw for that one. Okay?